the Grouchy Nerd. Alright, you antisocial weirdos, let's learn a game that can play at the ideal player count. 1. Space Hulk Death Angel, designed by Corey Koneska and Once Upon a Time, published by Fantasy Flight Games. Now you may be asking yourself, why would I make a video about a 12-year-old game that's out of print? Felt like it. Space Hulk Death Angel, or SHDA, or Sade as it's known. I don't think that's right. Space Hulk Death Angel takes place in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, which means a great deal to a great number of people, and I myself am not one of them. No idea. Just one of the first games I saw that could be played at 1, and I was like, into that. Your goal in Space Hulk Death Angel is to guide a group of Death Angels, which are a bunch of Space Marines, through a Space Hulk, which is a big spaceship, and kill all the aliens. It appears to be science fiction, but with priests. The game is played over a series of rounds, and in each round you will choose an action for each of your 3 combat teams to perform, though no team can perform the same action 2 rounds in a row. Is this what you think Sade is? No. Shuffle the event deck and the Genestealer deck, keeping the 2 Broodlord cards out of play for now, and place the decks at the top of your play area. The game plays kind of vertically. Functionally, the Genestealer cards are all the same, but come in one of 4 types. Broodlords have 2 types. Types matter for Genestealer movement, which we'll see in a little while. Next, set your location deck by first finding the Void Lock location card that shows 1 player. To build the location deck, randomly choose 1 location each from the locations marked 2, 3, and 4 and place them in ascending order with the Void Lock card on top. Next, you'll choose your combat teams. Playing solo, you'll be controlling 3 teams of 2 Space Marines. You can pick these teams at random or go with the colors that best complement the ensemble. Take each team's action cards and place them in front of you, separated by color. Shuffle the 6 Space Marines. They're double-sided, so look away or do it under the table. Deal the Marines in a column 1 at a time, with the top 3 facing left and the bottom 3 facing right, as noted by the arrow next to the picture of the Marine. The column of Space Marines is called the formation. Each place that a Marine is in is a position. Place the support tokens and the combat die near your play area. Find the terrain cards that match the 4 symbols on the location card and place them by counting the number of positions in the formation, either down from the top position on the left or up from the bottom position on the right. So in this case, the door is in the 1st position from the top and the dark corner is in the 3rd position on the left. On the right, the corridor goes in position 5, as it is 2 up from the bottom, and the vent in position 4, 3 positions up from the bottom. Next, deal cards from the Genestealer deck as indicated by the numbers on the left and right corner of the location card to form the left and right blip piles. Draw the top card of the event deck. In the setup, ignore all text on this card. Each event card will show 2 of 4 possible terrain types: green, yellow, orange, or red, and either a yellow or white triangle representing major and minor spawns. The Void Lock location card shows how many Genestealers will be placed depending on the spawn type. Place the appropriate number of Genestealers on any matching terrain types as shown on the event card, taking the Genestealers from the blip piles on the same side of the formation as the terrain type to which they are spawning. So in this case, 2 Genestealers will be dealt from the left blip pile to the door, and 1 Genestealer will be dealt to the ventilation duct from the right blip pile. Groups of Genestealers are called swarms. Each turn plays thusly. Choose actions phase. Choose 1 action for each of your combat teams to perform. The action types are support, move plus activate, and attack. Note that even though you are in control of all 3 teams, each team is its own. So when you choose an action for, say, the yellow team, only the yellow Space Marines are going to do that action when it comes time to resolve the actions. Once you have chosen each team's action, move on to the resolve action phase. Each action has an activation number in the upper left corner, and actions are resolved in numerical order from lowest to highest. Now, in addition to the other obvious perks to playing games solo, we've got a pretty good advantage here over the normies. See, they have to pick their actions in secret, so no one really knows what order they're going to be going in, but you can make this turn go in whatever order you want it to go in. That's pretty big. In addition to the basic action, the card will have a special ability that will have a specific trigger. These are all very powerful, so make sure you're paying attention to them. First up is the support action. Place 1 support token on any Space Marine on any team. Note that's 1 support token, not 1 support token per Marine on the active team. You're only putting down 1 token total. So yeah, it's not very flashy. It's a whole action to put down 1 token, but these tokens are super vital, and we're going to see why in a little bit. Move plus activate actions fall in the middle, numerically speaking, and will likely be the second action type to be resolved. Now, there are 3 steps to this action. All the parts are optional, no part is dependent on any other part, and you may choose different options for each of your 2 Marines. First, move. Now, there can never be gaps in the formation, so moving within the formation is really just swapping positions with an adjacent Space Marine. Each Space Marine on the team may do this once. Terrain cards and Genestealers remain in position. Next, you may change the facing of the active Marine group by flipping them over so that the arrow on the card now faces the other way. Facing is important for a few reasons, and we'll see why in a little bit. Note that you may only change the facing of the active combat team, whether they moved or not, and you may not change the facing of any other Marine, even if they did move as a result of the movement action. Last, your Space Marines may activate a terrain that is in front of them. That is, they're facing it and it is in the same position in the formation as them. Note that each terrain can only be activated once per game round, so you can't activate the same terrain with multiple teams. Last up in the action order will be attacks. Each Marine of that combat team may perform an attack, one at a time and in any order. To perform an attack, roll the combat die. If the result has a skull icon, slay 1 Genestealer in the swarm by discarding it out of play. Any face without a skull is a miss. If the attacking Marine has a support token, you may discard it to re-roll the attack, though you must use this new result. However, you may spend multiple support tokens, one at a time, to re-roll multiple times. Space Marines can only attack Genestealers in front of them and must be in range, shown on the Marine's cards here. Range is the maximum number of positions above or below the Marine's position that the swarm may be to be a valid target. So a range of 0 would be the swarm in the same position as the Marine. A range of 1 would allow that Marine to attack a swarm in its own position or either position adjacent to it, and so on. Once each combat team has been activated and all actions resolved, the Genestealers attack. Each swarm is considered engaged with the Marine in the same position. Starting with the topmost swarm, each swarm attacks the Marine it is engaged with. That Marine rolls the die. If the result is the same value or less than the number of Genestealers in the swarm, that Marine is slain. If the number is higher, it's a miss. Also, that die is numbered 0 to 5, so even 1 Genestealer's got a pretty good shot of killing Marine, and a swarm of 5 or more definitely will. If the swarm is in front of the Marine, you may spend a support token from that Marine to re-roll the die. And again, you may do this as many times as you have support tokens to do it. Keep trying. Nothing to lose. You're gonna die. When a Marine is slain, remove it from the formation, thus creating 2 segments. There can never be a gap in the formation, so now the formation must shift. The Space Marine, Terrain, and Genestealer cards in the smaller segment will shift towards the larger segment. If the segments are even, the lower segment will shift up. This can cause swarms to merge. If a swarm of Genestealers that have not attacked were to merge with Genestealers that have attacked, the swarm that has not attacked will attack on its own and then join with the rest of the swarm after the round ends. Swarms will only merge if they're on the same side of the formation. Shifting can also cause multiple terrain cards to be in the same position. Last, draw the top card from the event deck. First, resolve the special event. The word instinct just means you can't discuss this with other players, but hey, that doesn't matter for us. Next, spawn Genestealers based on the card. Remember that your starting void lock tells you how many to spawn, whether a major or minor spawn, and the Genestealers come from the blip pile on the same side of the formation as the terrain to which they are spawning. Last, move any swarm which has at least 1 Genestealer with an icon that matches this one. Movement will happen either up or down depending on the arrows on the upper right of the Marine it's engaged with on the right or the lower left corner on the left. This symbol means flank. Instead of moving up or down along the formation, this swarm will move to the back of the Marine it is engaged with. Note, flank does not mean switch sides, it means move behind the Marine, so if it's already behind the Marine, it does not move. If movement would ever push a swarm off the edge of the formation, the swarm will instead flank. So if a swarm on the left side is behind a Marine in the bottom position, and that swarm is to move, it would first try to move down. That would move it off the formation though, so instead it flanks. However, it's already behind the Marine it's engaged with, so instead of all that, it just stays exactly where it was. Next, begin again at the Choose Actions phase and choose a new action for each combat team. Remember that each team must choose a different action than the one it just resolved. At the end of any phase in which either blip pile is empty, immediately travel to the next location. So that will generally happen right after you've spawned new Genestealers. The only time you won't travel with an empty blip pile is if you're already in the final location. To travel, discard the top location card. Keep that void lock location card nearby, though, to remember what the major and minor spawn numbers are if you can't remember 2 and 1. Place new terrain cards based on the new location. If the number of positions down or up exceeds the number of Marines in the formation, place the terrain in the bottom or topmost space, respectively. If any cards remained in the other blip pile, discard those, then set new blip piles based on the new location. If ever the Genestealer deck is empty and you need to add more Genestealers to a blip pile, shuffle the Genestealer discard pile and create the new Genestealer deck. Resolve any upon entering text on the new location. Any Genestealers that your Space Marines were engaged with will remain engaged with those Space Marines. Some locations will spawn a Broodlord. Broodlords have 2 types each, and any swarm containing a Broodlord is considered to have both types for any movements. A Broodlord cannot be slain if there are any normal Genestealers in the same swarm. And when a swarm with a Broodlord attacks, subtract 1 from the result of the die roll. Remember, the Marine is slain if the die roll result is the same or lower as the number of Genestealers in the swarm, so this makes it that much easier to be slain. And don't forget that one of the die results is a 0, so a Broodlord by itself could slay a Space Marine with a 0, a 1, or a 2. That's 3 faces. That's half of the die. Play continues in this way until you reach the final location. If you're able to fulfill the win condition on the final location card, or slay all Genestealers in the formation and both blip piles are empty, you win. You have brought Peace Wrench to the 40,000, and now all the priests are the happiest boys. However, you immediately lose if all Space Marines are slain. Alright, you smooth operator, that's how to play Space Hulk Death Angel. Now get off my golden throne. What? The Grouchy Nerd. Okay, I think I figured it out. So, the green ones have the Warhammer. That makes sense. The yellow ones have the War Claw. War Claw 40,000. And the gray ones have the War Book. I don't get it.